Welcome to The Life of Hair. My name's James Atkinson. Thank you for joining me in this week's episode. Now, this week's episode, you've probably read the title. I'm not doing a Brad Mondo for anybody who is wondering. This is not about telling Brad he did a good or a bad job. This is a video that I found when I was just looking through Brad Mondo's videos through the search engine. And I'll tell you the backstory. First of all, as to how this came about. Over lockdown, I contacted loads and loads of YouTubers, big and small, and I just said, look, do you want to collaborate in some way? And nobody, with exception to one, got back to me. This is not to hate on anybody, and in fact, this is all about taking a positive look at this particular situation for Brad. Now, he did this girl's hair, very pretty girl, beauty blogger. I will link her channel down in the description. And she got Brad and her to collaborate, and Brad did her hair, and it didn't go to plan, that's for sure. And there was a lot of drama, and Brad actually removed his side of the video, which was the colouring part, from his channel, which is very unfortunate that Brad removed that from his channel, because that was really the part that I wanted to see. Where had the process gone wrong? Now, once I started to watch this, I started to see where this process could have been done differently. And I thought, you know what? We all make mistakes, me included. I've made so many mistakes, and actually that's where we learn from. We learn when we make mistakes. We don't learn when we smash something. We just go, yeah, I smashed it, wonderful, good job, walk away. We learn when something goes wrong. Now, this didn't go well for Brad, but I think there's some learnings for us to have, and you guys will probably be facing similar situations to what Brad is facing in this particular video a lot at the moment. Long bleach regrowths. Now, I've got videos on long bleach regrowths and how to tackle them, and I will link them at the end of this video. But before then, let's take a look at what Brad did to this lovely girl's hair and how he could have approached it differently to get a better result. If you enjoyed today's episode, you know what to do. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't already, and chat to me down in the comments. And a big thank you, as always, to everybody who has subscribed from day one right up to the present day and into the future. And a big thank you to all my Patreons who have supported me amazingly well and have allowed me to push on with my dreams of creating a digital hair academy to give people a comprehensive education all across the world. So I will catch you in the next episode. Be good, look after yourself. Let's take a look at what happened. Now, the first thing I just want to quickly comment on, this is nothing to do with doing hair. Brad is washing this girl's hair in a sink. We've all done that. She's laying down on a counter. This is in his home, apparently, next to a plug. Now, I don't know about you. Health and safety is like ringing alarm bells in my ears right now. If you're ever at home washing your hair in the sink, do not lay down next to a plug when you are using water. Just a tip. Nothing to do with hair, just a health and safety thing. Saw it straight away. I was just like, oh my gosh. Okay, so on with the video. Back to the hair. So as we can see, here is the lift that has been done. So we're going to zoom in right into the roots first, and we're going to discuss why the roots are so blonde. Now, the main reason is because the scalp is 36.6 degrees and it gives off heat. And then when you cake it in bleach and you get hot, it can kick up a bit more heat. It can trap that heat in and amplify that heat. So that is really something to be aware of when we're doing bleaches or we're using high volumes of peroxide with tint. Some people call it hot roots or root glow, and it is purely because of the heat from the head. Now let's go to everything past that first 1 centimetre / 1 inch. Then we've got a orange mid-band colour in her hair. Now this orange mid-band colour is come about because the hair in that area is colder than the hair that was closer to the head. Now, if we saw when he was washing her hair, he'd obviously scrunched a few foils into her hair, but unfortunately that kind of level of application is not sufficient for such a technical job. If you watch the videos at the end that I mentioned, you'll see why and how this could have been done differently in a couple of different scenarios. So he's got hot roots and then a orange midband, and then if we look very closely at the very tips of the hair, they're very white and light too. Now this is because there was either some lightener on the hair previously, or she had previously lightened bits in her hair, and that hair had less distance to travel to get to white, as in the colour scale runs from 1 or 2 being black and 10 being blonde. Her hair was already lighter, and of course that's why it's got white, orange, white. Now this was avoidable, and it's all down to application. Now, if you want to watch the videos at the end that I've mentioned already, there are different ways to approach this, but let's just discuss one very simple way to approach this. That midband needed tackling first, before anything else. That midband needed to have bleach applied to it up to 1 inch away from the scalp and left to process, but not those ends that had been previously coloured. Now that makes the technical nature of this application very, very difficult, but completely necessary, because if you do not do this, then you have to take another step later, and you will always be fighting what happened in the bleaching process when you come to tone it. So you've got to nail the bleaching process. It's really, really important. Brad would have been better off tackling that midband first of all, letting it process, then going back in and applying the first 1 inch after about 20 minutes or so of processing. Then once he'd applied the root area and finished the root area, it would have been best to go back then and deal with the ends of the hair, and so that the roots and the ends would have had a similar amount of time to process. That way, you'd have more than likely got a consistent, even result from root to tip. Now, would it have been platinum white? Well, that's hard to say, and it would have been easier for me to comment on this had Brad not have deleted the original video from the colouring aspect, his end. But never mind, we won't worry about that. We're not here to bash Brad in any way, shape or form. And actually, I think what Brad does for the hair industry is quite good, because he shows people how badly your hair can go wrong if you do it yourself. And he does advocate seeing a professional stylist. So Brad has his place in the industry, and he does it with a big slice of humour as well. So good on you, Brad, for doing that for the industry. I can see the positives in what you do. But we can all learn from our mistakes, and today I'm going to hopefully share with you the answers to some of the things that Brad encountered on this journey. Having lifted that root area second and the ends third, and then just allowed it all to process and rinsed it off, he would have had a better, more consistent lift root to tip. Then he wouldn't have to have dealt with what came next. We have got blue roots, then we've got what looks like a decent blonde colour through this mid-zone, and then there's a little bit of blue hue maybe towards some of the ends where it's a bit more porous. Now this is because the same toner has been applied from root to tip, and that is a blue tone that has neutralized the orange, but where the roots were so light and the ends were so light, it has just simply turned it blue. Now, if Brad wanted to eliminate this problem in the toning phase, he also could have dealt with it then. He could have applied a neutral natural level 10, maybe with a tiny bit of violet in it, to that white root area. Just given that a second to process, then gone back in to his orange mid-zone with the blue toner that he had applied to the client's hair. And then again on the ends that are very porous, I would have probably said just the neutral level 10 on its own. Now Brad has faced a very, very technically challenging hair colour here, and it's come back to bite him, unfortunately. This became a bit of social media storm by the looks of it, and I'm sorry for you, Brad, if you're watching this. I have made mistakes, people watching this have made mistakes, but we haven't had to have it splashed all over the internet. We just have to go back and do it for free, or whatever the case may be. So there's some ways around this. It's not just, oh, well, you've got these particular scenarios on your head, and so therefore this is the only thing that we can do for you. Brad then went on to cut this lovely lady's hair, And I just wanted to point out a few things about pre-sectioning while Brad was cutting hair here. He had a very, very loose and natural way of cutting hair, but this can cause panic and fear when we're cutting hair in the salon. You'll see that he's just kind of randomly picking up bits of hair and just snipping off the ends here and there. But it doesn't give you a succinct guideline to follow throughout the entire haircut if we are just picking up bits of hair and cutting it where we think it needs to come off. And that is why I'm a big advocate of having a technical understanding of how to cut hair. I know that if you don't cut hair with some kind of forethought and planning, the pressure that you're putting yourself under on a daily basis is totally unnecessary and it is totally avoidable. So take the time to practice with some kind of technique behind what you're trying to achieve. It will save you a lot of heartache. That's enough of that. I'm not here to comment on, Brad's good bits and bad bits. I just want you to point out some of the things that I'm watching this and think people could learn from. Brad does go on to say in the video that he had a bit of a tough time with it, and she said, "Are you going to show me the back?" And he says no.
Do you want to touch back my hair?
No.
No? Just kidding. Oh, is that what you were doing?
I was trying to turn you all the way around.
I thought you were just like turning me around to show the back of my head. I know we were doing a full circle.
Because he's having a bit of a difficult time with it. It's patchy at the back. He's really trying to, play it down to her. And then at the end of this video, it cuts back to her and she shows you, and she styled it all back, which you can see now. And she's a beautiful girl and her hair looks amazing styled back like that. And she's got a very bright platinum root area, which is exactly what you'd come to expect with such a good lift at the roots. But then she's always going to be dealing with that orange band in there, and it's starting to go a bit yellow. She said she shampooed it once, but not with cleansing cream, thank God, because she'd have taken the toner out and she'd have had an orange mid band and then a very, very light root. So she'd have been better off doing what she did and just shampooing it with normal shampoo. But all this, again, is avoidable with some of the processes that we talked about in this video. And I do want to state and really overstate the fact that this is not here to bash Brad in any way, shape or form. This is just me, hopefully helping you guys avoid some of the mistakes that we saw in this video. I am going to follow up this video with me trying out some of the tutorials that I have watched on YouTube and giving you my review of the technique. So I hope you'll find those interesting. And if you do, then don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of those videos. Smash that thumbs up button. It really helps that YouTube algorithm and helps the channel out immensely. And have a wonderful week, and I shall see you again for another episode of The Life of Hair.